Hello. Oh yeah. I'm a little late to the party, sorry. I had some audio problems and my camera's not even set in the right spot. Oh my. Oh, now I'm hearing myself in feedback. Let's see here. All right, so welcome. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Welcome to a new Plugin Guru Power live stream. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, things are a little, I'm sorry, just a little bit disheveled, but I will get it together for you all. I hope you all are doing well. Things are great here. Let's see, let's go over here. We can get this like this. My name is John Skippy Limcool. I am the sound designer and owner of pluginguru.com, and it's our weekly live stream to look at all sorts of fun things. And starting to get stressed. Oh, you guys, I love you so much. You guys are all so awesome. Let me get a little bit more dynamics on my voice. A compressor. Test 1, 2 helps greatly to just bring up the levels of everything and get me nice and snappy. Oh my. Okay, so I'm distorting a little bit here. I want you guys to tell me about the level. I've had a couple people write me that my send is really hot, and so I have turned it down so that what you're hearing is a softer send than I usually send, because I don't want to be distorting. So when I'm playing, does it sound okay level-wise? Hope so. I'll say, sounds beautiful. Good. All right, so this is a demo I did for this new library. I am so excited for this library. You guys have no idea how excited I am. I had so much fun, and I have ideas for some other ideas for, you know, where to start. So let's do this. In this review today, we're going to look at a couple things. I've gotten a little bit of a conversation going with the gentleman behind the Hexeract synth. And he has asked if it would be possible to wait to do the review, because they've added over 100 new patches. They've added things missing. I'll talk about it briefly, but the full review, I'm going to wait until they get me the new update and it's only when it's available to everybody. If he mailed it to me today, I wouldn't show it because I'm just a consumer. When I do these, I own a website. I've got a nice following. You guys are awesome. The video views and support is awesome. But I don't want companies to treat me any differently than they treat you. So for the most part, most of the software I show you, I buy. And I get people all the time asking me to review software, and most of the time I don't. Few times when it's like, this is really important for people to know about right now, I will. But for the most part, I do reviews when I want to do reviews. And I show products that I want to show because there's reasons to show them to you. I thought Hexeract was really cool, but it's really early. They released something that to me should have stayed in the oven for another hour. Maybe another 6 months even, in the case of software, because you only get one shot at this. And so that's why I really want to be careful, and I don't want to blow. They're a small new company. They're like me when I was releasing my first software. And to have someone come up and just like slam it and say it's crap, I don't want to do that. I don't want to stop them from having sales if they can get everything together. It's just, when you release something, you should release it when it's ready. And if it's not ready, don't release it. Don't make some date in the sand that you can't keep. And I really feel that they did that with this, which is unfortunate. But they're trying to work up and do some things. So we'll talk about that. That's going to be the second update. Okay, good. Windows and YouTube sliders both up, and it sounds good. Good. I turned down the volumes like you wouldn't believe how much. But when I was playing this, I was just looking at the signal on the Livestream software that I use, and it was redlined. And I was like, you know, let me bring it down so it's not redlined. Yes, yeah, Raymond, I agree where you're at. And so what they're doing, well, we'll get there in a minute. So anyway, so let me show. I'm sorry, my mom and dad are coming to town. I had an aunt pass away, so we're going to a funeral. I'm seeing family. There's just a lot going on. So, but I want to do these live streams. I love doing these and supporting you guys. And my live stream health is at yellow, so it could be better. But that's probably because my computer is working fairly hard. I've got, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different Repro plugins going, as well as Battery 4 and Contact 5 and Hexeract. And all those pitch cables. Yeah, we'll talk about Hexeract in a bit. So let me show you this. I call it Dirty Rat Demo just because the bass sound, which I really enjoyed, is called Dirty Rat. And oh, my MIDI keyboard also pooped out. So let's disconnect it and then let's reconnect it and give it 1 second and hopefully it goes. There it is. And there's a couple things about this that really made this. Let me play this groove. Let's just start right like here. I love that chord progression. Okay, now listen to this. And I'm gonna have the drums go. Okay, so we're booming. Check this out. 2 plugins were used that make this work. LFO Tool on the bass does this nice sidechain pumping, and then Gatekeeper is doing a really cool rhythmic thing to the clav. Hear that? Okay, let me turn these 2 plugins off. It doesn't work. This needed to have the side chain pumping so that the kick and the bass, because it's a fairly heavy. And I wanted something that was doing a cool rhythm, and Gatekeeper is so great and its rhythmic feel is so flexibly tight. And just this is just actually a factory preset. It's just the dramatic reverse. And I think I might have brought this down and taken it and changed it just a little bit. But it's one of the factory gate presets. It's like the 2nd or 3rd preset I put in, and I was like, dang, that's perfect. So that's with them. And then I have some fun stuff happening. Side EQ is really important, so I have just a little bit of shaping of the low end and the high end, but watch what happens. Notice it's off right now. Now it's on. And I just had it come up during that breakdown so that it would like give the whole energy goes away in the low end. So things like that are really important for production when you're doing this kind of stuff. Let me so we turn off solo. So there's bass. This is such a great sounding synthesizer. I'm really impressed. Let's have this set like that. So when I change World Builder and the mod wheel. And it's got this really wide delays. And it's really important to notice that I wanted some difference, some differentiation of the stereo field. So this, the clav is right here. And if we turn off Gatekeeper, it's just a cool. start singing and getting down. But when you turn on Gatekeeper, all that stereo stuff, I have it go away, so it's just a mono. So if you listen to this, the bass, and this, let's see if I get this going right. If I go, it's like this, and the clav, right, and solo them. When this hits, World Builder gets to be the soloist. See how he becomes a soloist? So you want to do that kind of stuff when you're working in the sonic domain with all these different sounds. It's important to not have everything taking up all the stereo imaging and everything being like, look at me all the time, or else it's just too much. And then when he goes into and then there's, I love this patch. This is a fun one. This is Canadian Oranges is kind of a Boards of Canada Fly Like an Eagle is and I'm using Jaws, and I have a dark delay, and then the sonic conditioner is up, and the sonic conditioner has a bit of an overdrive to it. See how the delays are falling apart? So it's the imperfections and the stuff that Repro can do to kind of like simulate that type of distorted falling apart and the delays is sweet. A noisy swell you need to have, right? Here's our chord part. And then towards the end, I wanted to have a nice bass. And Rebel with a Cause. If you like the Stranger Things, I was kind of going in that direction with. So all these sounds together, I'm using the Broken School Kit. Battery 4 is a really great drum plugin in its own rights. It's a lot more like a hi-fi kind of thing, whereas Super Macho Drums is just this in-your-face, I'm not going to apologize kind of a sound. So the two work really well together. So I have a kick from here, and I've gone through, and there's a page. If you want to send something to the outputs, you have to right-click on this and go to Output. And here you can go here, and you can set it to any of the output assignments per sample. It's not as streamlined and fast to work with as it is in Super Macho Drums, but you can get sounds. So this kick drum is on its own output. And then I have, if we solo this, let's see. I have some sort of a weird mode going on here that, oh, a solo lock is on. That's what it is. Okay, so if I go like this. Go like that. So the main groove from Battery 4 is, oh, that's the breakdown. Oh, I got to turn on the kick. So that's the groove from Battery. And if we go to, let's see, let's turn off solo on this and turn solo on this and add the kick drum. I just wanted, oh, that's without it. So I've got the kick drum from Super Macho Drums, just doing this high energy thing. It has the transient designer turned on to give it some punch. And it's high pass filtered. no, it's not. What did I do? I have an EQ on it. So I just have a high pass filter EQ getting rid of the energy in it. So when I have this and I have battery playing together, the drums sound really great. Right? So we got this driving groove behind the whole thing. Let's see. Let's turn everybody down just a little bit. They're not doing any automation. I have other parts that are automating. So now you can hear. Let's play the whole demo. This is all the parts. I'm going to mute my voice so you hear it a little bit better. I don't have the mastering turned on right now because the latency is huge. And I'd have to actually, let's do this. I'll play it with, heard anything about Omnisphere 3? There is no Omnisphere 3. Not anytime soon as far as I know from what I've heard. I know they're going to be showing an update at maybe in the coming weeks since there's a trade show coming, but they don't do any announcements. So hang on one second. I'm going to quit this and load it back up so it loads up the effects. Let's do this. Let's turn this off. Oh, there we go. Now those effects are on. So now listen to it mastered. Love it. I was dancing around the room. You wouldn't believe I was dancing around the room. When I write a song and I'm really happy with it, I'm over here dancing like a 10-year-old. It's really funny. And so this made me want to dance. So I know I got the good thing going on. Somebody wanted to see the automation on the bass parts. So here, let's do this. In Logic, you can just set it to be latch, and then you can call up whatever you want. I'm using the Pro Q, and you can just move things around and it records it. And it could be multiple parameters. And if you look the little triangle right here, it will show you all of the parameters that are happening at once. So let's do this. Let's solo this part, and we'll have it play from right here. Now here comes the loan's gonna go away right here. Okay. And then in the middle, the volume comes down and the low and the high pass come down, and then they come back, and then they actually sweeten it a little bit. So I just want to go away. This is during that interlude. Now they go down together. Okay. So if you hear that middle section unsoloed. Oh, let's do this. I got it. So has to go up here. I want that pad to take over. So the pad, I wanted this pad If you bring in something like this, you need to make room for it. So the whole thing is this. When you're doing composition, think of it like you have X number of blocks, right? And divide them up and then look at what sound is in that block. And if you have more than one or two sounds in that block, then get them out. Use EQ, use compression, use volume, whatever you need to do so that the thing that's taking over that block, if it's important, it should be emphasized in some way. Keep the balance. It's like you're trying to make it balance through the whole thing, even if you have sounds changing. So people send me stuff all the time where they have demos that they've done, and I make big sounds. I love to make big in-your-face sounds, but I put controls on the mod wheel usually and stuff to taper them down so that you can find in between areas. So it's all about balance. You need to find places where things go away. What do you want to have in your music come up? I wanted that pad to like wrap its arms around you. And if the bass would have been playing its part, and if I would have had the drums going really crazy, you would not have had that effect. It would not have felt like that. So look at your blocks. You can divide it into 3, 4 blocks. It doesn't have to be 10. But those are your frequency spectrum. What is in that spectrum? When you have a kick drum and you have a bass, and they're both in that bottom spectrum, you have to make them live together. Otherwise, you end up where if the bass is playing and a kick hits, and your bass is already giving you close to a red line, and then this kick hits that like takes it way up there in the low end, you don't want to do that. You can't do that. Not if it's a professional track. So you have to find ways, LFO tool, gating, volume automation, stuff like that are your tools to get your balance right in a track. Yes, I'm always thinking about sound as a shoebox with limited space. Exactly. You only have so much headroom in your sonic fidelity space. And I love to use every inch of that frickin' space. But I have learned from experience and from working in studios with amazing people that you can't have everything being like full space, full spectrum, full everything, or else it just becomes, what happens if you put 5 colors of watercolor on the top of each other? It turns black, right? So don't do that. I do have a lot of original compositions to listen to. Sure. I have I'll share you the link. On Reverb Nation, I think reverbnation.com/realcool, REALKUHL will get you to me. And here's the link. And I have a lot of tracks. I'm actually hoping to do a record this year. I have a really crazy idea that I'm working on. Let's see here. What else is anybody talking about? All right. Well, let me go through the library real quick, since we have now played the demo and talked about them. Let me just cover real quickly mastering. The mastering is really about, I really, really love a nice multi-band precision limiter, compressor limiter. And the UAD is just phenomenal. It's just amazing. So what I did for this, I've tapered out. If we look over here, let's see if we go through the scrolling list, there's a high cut and a low cut, and the low cut's at 10. And then I just controlled the Q to get the shape to where it was hitting just where I want. I just didn't want to get, it's slowly tapering off low end as it goes. So it's a cool way that and if you're not sure with how this is from FabFilter, and if you double click, you add a new one, and then you can click here and choose what type of a thing, whether you want it to be a notch, and you can, now it's notching and stuff like that. Let's say X, get rid of it. So I have this at 10. I have my Q where I wanted it to be. So that's just to control it just before it starts the processing. I have the precision maximizer, and then I have the precision EQ. I love the precision effects. I think they're great. Then I have the multi-band, and then I finally have the limiter to taper it, and I just bring it down a little bit below 0 dB for the top headroom, and I push it like 3. If I was doing like Skrillex dubstep, people will push this much harder. But let's do this. I'm gonna make it so that my voice has latency, and we'll turn these off, and then I'll add each one of these so you can hear what it's doing to the sound. So the idea for me is this: the maximizer brings up some energy, and the EQ is just giving me a really nice smiley curve, 2.5 dB. The precision equalizer, this is a stereo mastering EQ. So even at max, it's only 8 dB of filters of EQ. It's not for like extreme. They have Cambridge and they have other EQ that's more extreme. So I'm shaping this sound so it's actually pretty harsh. And then it hits this, and I use the very gentle. There's a couple other presets, and then I'll control these volume. It divides. Here's your bands division, and you can click here to control the volume of your bands, and you can click here to control where one band stops and the next band of EQ takes over. And this does compression per frequency spectrum range. Okay, so here we'll play this song. I'm going to turn this up. So now I have latency. Let's start. So I'm going to turn on the groove. So that's flat. So first we add the precision maximizer. This brings it up a little bit. This warms up the low end and high end. Now listen. This is gold. Without it, and then I bring it up a little bit more and squash it with this. So it's very neutral sound, if you can tell. Like here. So that was the mastering that I did for this track. I'm not a big fan of stuff. In case he doesn't see this question, I think UAD is the best. And it's, yes, I love Universal Audio stuff. Their effects are great. I could replace this multi-band with the one from Fab Filter is really great. The tools from, there's so many companies doing great effects. I just like, for one thing, it's doing heavy CPU and it's doing it on the hardware. And so it gives my computer the ability to play more synthesizer plugins, more sounds, which is one of the reasons why I like using UAD stuff so much, because I can have really nice high quality mastering stuff like that. And if we watch my meters here, let's see, everything's on. I can't tell if it's changing it drastically or not. Mix wise, I don't see the CPU processors being hit too hard with this. I'm just really happy I can play this with 7 effects, 7 different plugins, these effects, and mastering stuff, and do a live stream that still has a green light. Yay. New computer is working as I hoped it would. So let me do this. Let me turn off these. Let's do this. Let's go to just a new instrument track. And let's call up Repro 1. This is such a great synthesizer. I cannot stress how wonderful this synth is. And so let me, instead of stressing and stuff, I'll just play it. And I think what I'm going to do is this. Let me open this up really quick. And hit X and slide this up. And I'm going to turn these off. Just because I believe I've done some tests and I end up getting some clicking. I don't want any clicking. So hopefully that worked. Now let me zoom in the display. Oh, by the way, check this out. Check out this desktop. This is really cool. Isn't that cool? That's a free download. I'm going to give you guys a link here in a minute for a couple cool free downloads. Let me see. It is still up there, I think. Let me double check. First, I'm going to give you the download. Here's this for the Dirty Rat demo. If you want the 48K 24-bit stereo mix, I just put it into the chat. Now, if you're watching this after the chat, I'm sorry, but you won't be able to get this unless somebody saves. Maybe I'll put the link into the chat log after it's done. Question: when you have used effects on each track and then the song is finished and you go to mastering, what is important to remember about balance? Any tips? Yeah, the main thing for mastering, especially if you're going to use someone else for mastering, is to not master it. You'll notice I'm doing mastering in the box to the track, so when it's done here, I bounce it out and it's done. A mastering guy would be pissed off if I sent it to him like this. If I turn all of these off and I was to play it, it is down to about minus 6 dB to 8 dB for the maximum headroom. You want to give it a little bit of headroom so that the guy that's mastering has room to add his own compression, his own saturation. Analog processing with real analog hardware gear will warm up and bring up the energy. So you don't want to have it at 0 dB maximized and normalized. For most guys that do mastering, talk to somebody at a mastering house that you're going to use before you get it to them. Sometimes they even want stems, where I would go through here and I would bounce out each of these tracks, and then they'll assemble it at their place, play it, and then they can get in and do microscopic control to certain basings and do magic that I'm not even aware of what to do, because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to, I'm not an engineer. I haven't had years of working behind a console. I know the basics of how these work, and I know what I hear, and so I like what I hear, and so I'm comparing two albums. Hey, Gareth, welcome. Hey, I was late too, so don't worry about that. It's good to be late. So there's that. There's also, let me see if I find this other freebie. If I don't have it here, hold on a second. We'll do it this way. Library. Let's see, this is, which one is this? Yeah, here it is. We'll do the more rusty version. So here is, if you would like to have a rusty wallpaper plugin guru photo wallpaper. This is actually by Gareth. I believe that's right? Gareth, you did these? I keep forgetting. I have so many people sending things to me at this point. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, so I've turned everything off. Okay. Thanks, Ivar. Good. Glad you understand. So here we go. Dark decay. There's nothing in the library that's just a simple dark decay. So when I do a power pack, I call it a power pack because I found holes in the library where there needs to be patches that need to be there, plus a whole lot of other crazy stuff that I've just come up with. It's really crazy, and I've sent this to a couple of people to work with, and they're blown away. So lots of stuff on the module, of course. Isn't that low end? It just rolls so nicely. So we have a decaying triangle. All the trap stuff. And then here's one with sustains, so it doesn't decay away. Very techno 80s. Again, I made it so it's very, very flexible. Rockstar is based on the hip hop track on the radio. This is taking nice advantage of one of the cool tricks. I'll share with you a trick, because I love to share tricks. Right here, Jaws, you can make it so you have amazing bite. You set this little puppy slider right here to AR, and that makes this become an attack and a release. And the release is determining when it goes back down to 0. So if I bring this short, I can take all that energy and harness it just into the attack. That's how I get that zing. Here, let's turn off Jaws. No zing. Okay, so I did my homework, homie. Let me tell you. Here's Dirty Rat. There's also a Dirty Rat as a oh, there will be. Maybe I didn't save it into this. This is there's a version of Dirty Rat that's up here. If I turn this on, I'll save that into the library because it's a sequenced version of Dirty Rat, which is what I came up with for the demo. Now the BPM stuff. Oh, Wombat. So let me be clear. This power pack is 64 patches for the Repro 1 and 64 patches for the Repro 5. And I'm going to stop and go to the Repro 5 for a minute because I want to show you the bases of Repro 5 and I can show you what's different. Here is what is different in a nutshell. If we go make this fast attack, okay, that's like a bass you could make in Repro 1. However, Repro 5 is 8 voices of polyphony, and it has a unison button. Yeah! Can I get a hallelujah out there? Hallelujah. Listen. Listen to that. You cannot get that out of Repro 1. I don't care what you do. You cannot get it. That's why they make it as a combination of buying the two. I'm going to sell a lot of Repro, I know. And that's okay, because he deserves it, because he did a great job on it. But this unison is unbelievable. Okay? So, knowing and realizing that, listen to this. Here's the library for Repro 5. Oh, yeah. Unison, baby. Look at this. 8 voices in unison mode. And if you want to get even more disgustingly, crazily cool, this is the pan position for each note of polyphony. And you can go super wide like this. Now maybe I want the mod wheel to go the other direction. So go over here. Let's get back to the synth. And instead of the mod wheel going negative, let's make it go positive. What is unison? Unison is forcing it to play all 8 voices of polyphony at once. So if we were to go over here to my preset, by the way, of init versus the one that comes with Repro is a dual oscillator unison. Mine is a true single oscillator with mod wheel. So this is one voice, one oscillator, the other oscillator is off. If I set my voices to 8 and I turn on unison, and then there's this voice detune, disgusting. Absolutely makes me want to throw up all over the place. Disgusting. Okay, and that's one oscillator, and this has 2 oscillators. So what you can do, turn off unison. Much different sound, huh? Turn on oscillator B. If you hold down shift, you can get to detuning. If you set this to be the square wave instead of the sawtooth wave, you can do PWM, which is a type of the LFO is changing the phase. Like if you listen to PW, well, analog class really quick. It's like if you're trying to make clavs, a square wave with the PWM percentage angle phase, it's almost to cancel itself out. In fact, at maximum, it almost does. They don't do full cancellation. Sorry, but Zebra is he's best baby. Different, very different. You cannot get this vibe out of Zebra. Zebra has its own vibe. It's got FM. It's got the ability to do some incredible synthesis stuff, but it's not an emulation of an analog synthesizer. This synth, just to take it to the extreme of what it does, it has presets. This historic folder right here, these are the same number and the same presets. In fact, they were made by John Bowen. I did the Wave Station years ago with John Bowen. He's a brother from another mother. He made the Prophet 5 factory patches. And so he had the guy that made the Prophet 5 patches. So it's its own beast. You can't compare it to Zebra. That's not fair. They're 2 different synthesizers with 2 completely different purposes. So when you take the unison, we were talking phase. So let's go with this. Let's go presets, go back to the init. Let's do it up here on layer 1. So instead of the sawtooth waveform, we're going to change to the square. And if you hear how the plan worked. John automatically went into education mode. Okay, so what if you could do this? That's what an LFO will do for you. So we go to the LFO and we want to say LFO. And what you do is you click and drag, and whatever you point at, I want to go to PWM. And you set this to about the middle because you can hear it's getting up to that canceling point. In fact, if I take this to maximum range, it goes to the canceling point in both directions. And then your LFO speed. So when you see in the synth preset when it says PWM pad, this is called pulse width modulation because it's being modulating the pulse width. The square wave width is being modulated. And if you put a slow attack and a long release, so compare that. That's one oscillator with the LFO doing the pulse width modulation. Here's a sawtooth. There's no motion, it's static. So if you combine the two, I have one oscillator with pulse width modulation. I could have both of them do pulse width modulation if I wanted to. I could go LFO. I don't have two LFOs, which would be nice. So they could each do modulation. This one's doing it in a positive, so let's have this do it in the opposite direction. And what's nice with the Prophet 5 and with this is you could turn on the squares or the sawtooths without. So you can get this large of a sound from Repro 1 or Repro 5 in just normal polyphony. But as soon as you hit unison, you can go here again, you choose two voices. Or 3, or 4, up to 8. Which is like this monster. So we have 8 voices that are basically playing 2 oscillators. So it's 16 notes, 16 different waveforms, and the waveforms are being combined because we have sawtooths and the pulse width happening at once. And you can just do sheer destruction. In fact, check this out. So let's go to messages. I gotta show you something pretty amazing. So my buddy is at the Oregon coast right now, and this is the equivalent of this. Here it is as an ocean wave. Are you ready? Oh, this is crazy. Here we go. Full screen. I'll play this sound while I drag it over. In fact, if you want to see something even more amazing, my buddy did a video. I think my mom and dad are here. Are you ready? Check this out. Let's see if I can click and drag to put this here. Replays. Check this out. This is insane. There's your 32 oscillators. That's on the Oregon coast yesterday. Just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So to give you a summary, the Repro 5, because of unison mode, I can make kick-ass huge and these are sounds you cannot make with the Repro 1. So you need, it's nice they include both because it's a total different thing to have unison mode Here's a case where I'm only using 3 voices of unison, and I've gone into the tweak page and I'm panning the number 1 and 3 oscillator. So I have one oscillator in the middle, then I have left, and then I have right. Okay, so it's so much incredible stuff you can do with this. If you want to do like really cool wows. Monster Funker. wake you up. So just crazy, crazy sounds. All right, so that's Repro 5's basses. Let's go back to Repro 1. Here's our BPM stuff. And I got a couple of tips to show you here. I need to check I haven't even been following my chat. I've been just having a good time talking away. Oh, I wasn't there when it was raining. I guess it's true. Okay. Okay, so this is back to the more simpler, focused, in your face, not the huge unison. But the cool thing here is that you have a sequencer. And the sequencer is so just awesome because you can go right here. You can see these parameters here or on the sequencer page. If you set this to record, you can and now when I hit play, it's recorded it. So any of these that I'm going to show you, it takes no time at all. If I want this to be something different, go record and now I have kind of messed up a little bit, but you get the idea. So I have some pitch changes happening. Oh, this is a fun one. This is a fun one. Check this out. So here's Jesu, Joy, Desire. Slow it down a little bit more. And let's call up one more instrument of Repro 1. And let's go over here to presets and to the... By the way, Electric Himalaya is another library that's great if you want more just straight ahead techno stuff. It's almost all I think it might be all BPM stuff. But here's the melody. And if I have this play with the bass, and the mod wheel. So that was fun to figure out how to do and create. So that's using 2 repros at one time to create something. Yes, there is something great about modeled sequencers that you don't get when you're dealing with just a MIDI sequencer. It's fun to sit and, you know, I have some presets that I've saved, but I think I can go in. Is there a way to clear it? Let me see. How do I clear? I don't know if there's an easy way to clear. Oh, clear. Duh. So you can click right here to choose how long you want it to be, even if it's, and I have it set to play 1 and 2. Let me explain the sequencer real quick. It has 2 separate lanes, pattern 1, pattern 2. So we can go to both of these and say clear, and I can say, let's have this one be 4, and go to note. And if I have it set to be, instead of just 1, I could say 2. And wherever you click up here, you can click here to change the length, but I learned that you can also click here. Okay. And if I set it to 1 plus 2, it will play 1 and then 2. So that's how you can get one melody line. Okay. So it's got some nice capabilities to it. You can also set it to key, which means that it will only advance when you play a new note. So you could say clear, clear, set this just to 1, record. Okay. And then set it to be key and play. So you could make it where you play a melody that you physically you could do all sorts of things like that if you want. Okay. Moving on, mushroom transfer. And there's some mushrooms in this mix. Hear all that funny pitch stuff? Opportunity. The other thing with the sequencer is you have holds. That's how I'm getting into holds. If you have it, you also have X's, so you can have it hold or X or play. So it's very flexible. Nice. Self-aware. And I really should have a tech. I'm dying to play some sort of big 4 on the floor beat, but I won't because I'd be here all day jamming. Square block party. Now these TBs are great. You can do the TB vibe really nice. Now I could make this a lot more. Just that AR trick with the jaws I showed you. I could definitely get more in your face if you wanted to. Techno marching orders. Triplets at the dive bar. So that's the basses, and I love all of them. They're just I was jamming on all of them, and they're fun. Leads. And these work, of course, really well together. If we were to go over here to these presets and call up something like, let me transpose this down an octave. And then play this with ice cream at the same time. Or yeah, is this ice cream? Sleeping Icebergs. This would be cool with maybe a different bass. So let's go over here to so they play really well together. I'm dying to just get a groove going and start writing music. Approaching Armada. I started a new genre of categories called song, because these became chord progressions, and in some cases I would even put down what the chord progression is as we're going through these. It's like a song all by itself, just using this. Guitar Love. Nice. Superhero. The library will be released next Wednesday. What day is that? The 24th? I had one of the guys that I sent the library to freaked out on this one. This was really cool. One note, just playing one note. And any of these that are BPMs, go over here and set it to off and just play it. Okay. Saving Spirits. I did 3 of these. So there's Bright. Lovely Pluck. And Windy. One note. Classical Triangles. I got out my my Switched on Bach records. I have albums of Switched on Bach. 2 of them. Memory Ripples. This is one for definitely for your space guys. I don't know of any promo pricing. There was, he just finished having that at the end of the year. It's now $149, I believe. So this has lots of delay on it. And I could have put the delay even longer. This is at sync, but it's not at max. I mean, that's at 3. We could have it. Yeah, $149, and you get both Repro and you get 1 and 5, both Repros. That's the retail price of the library of the plugin. Sorry, $99. Now this is one that's actually got a cool trick to it. I kind of sussed this out for a dance kind of a situation. Let's see. We have to get some kind of a groove going. So let's do this. Let's go there like that. let's see, let's mute that. So the idea here is the mod wheel. No. No. Mute everybody. Is there anybody else playing? Let's just tell everybody to be muted. Don't play. This has this snappiness that comes up, right? And I designed it so that the volume of the gain on the sonic, this sonic conditioner, would come down so it stays smooth. But if you move back and forth, it's really cool sidechain. That's what I'm doing. I'm being an LFO on the mod wheel. So you can get all sorts of cool sidechain effects like that if you so desire. Saving spirits. It's just this pulsing. When you have a pulsing shape like this, it makes you play differently than if it's just a note. If I was to turn, I can't remember if I did this with LFOs. Yeah, this is using LFOs. So if you want more air or less, bring down the strength of the LFO in the sound. Switched on. Transcend 5. This was used in that song. And World Builder was used. I think it was. Noisy swell. Acoustic guard. Now we get the lead. The Canadian tangerine and orange. Fly like an eagle. That's the sound. Ice cream sink. Legend is my favorite plugin synth so far. I have not reviewed it. Nope, I have not. I believe that's Sonic Charge, or it's the guys that do Dune. They have Legend. This is mellow, warm, and yummy. Lots of chill kind of sounds. Right next to really piercing. Sending out signs. This is like the Lyle Mays lead from his 4 voice. And this was created in a really tricky way. I'm using the filter. When you bring the filter up to a certain point, it self-oscillates. And so you can tune that. But I want to get that little... So I have the filter envelope set up, and I have it set just very slightly right here to the mod. Just to oscillator B frequency. So you can get more of it if you want. So that was lovely to come up with. Smooth and brassy. Sweet somethings. Sweet square. Sweet triangle. Trumpeteer. It gets brighter, and there's mod LFO. It's lovely how easy it is to control and program stuff like that. A couple detune and a detune PWM. You know, when you go through the leads and stuff, there's all sorts in the factory. But sometimes you need just the basic building blocks to start with and then work with from there. So that's what the power pack is to give you, is both flexible, cool, you know, this kind of stuff, but also give you just a nice detuned lead with not a whole lot of crazy stuff going on to start with. Let's see here. Nice discussions going on over there, guys. So I'm going to show you real quickly the RP5, and then I think what we're going to do is we're going to call it quits. My mom and dad are here downstairs. I can hear my dog barking when they got here. And we'll look at Hexasynth, the Hexeract. We will look at that when I have the update, which will be available to everybody, and we'll look at it then. So after the NAMM show, we'll look at it another time. So now we're polyphonic, so I can play chords with a lot of these, right? So just love the sound of this. I mean, listen to that. That's just beautiful sound. Swims on forever. Lucky Felix. Off you go. I had requests for brass, so I find that the tonality of Repro is great for brass. It's not so great for strings. It was a lot of work to get string pads. The oscillator just has a really great brassy tone to it. So that's one trumpet. Here's trumpets. Pitch LFO, French horns. Just really nice. Here's the ensemble French horns. Okay, so stuff like that. Some chords. Lucky days in minor chords. Off you go. monolithic major. Need this nice wind. We got noise bombs. This is pure, so there's no resonance. Here's with resonance. Crash into 16th notes. Clavi funk. That's the clav I used for the demo song. Some organs. Off and off and off. This is lovely. Just nice electric piano type of sound. Velocity harpy clav. I'm using velocity on the synth to go through that pulse width. The pulse width modulation we were talking about for the pad, it's also great for clavs. So it starts kind of here in the chunky part, and by velocity, I'm able to have it go from here to here by velocity. So that's how I get to be. Okay, so that's that kind of a clav sound. Handful of keyboards, French horns, a morning. They're using the unison. So all of you guys that are big fans of the Blade Runner kind of sound, Mega Unison Saw Dream. And we still have all of these to go. Just really cool stuff. Dark and warm and mellow. Kind of that, I used to love to make those sounds when I had my Prophet 5. Actually, I only had a Prophet 600. I didn't have a 5. Great pads, really nice. Dissension's great. Grandstand. It's big. Ocean signs. Using the sine wave as a pad. The sine wave coming from the filter resonance self-oscillating. Down low. And check this out. I had to EQ. I take down the mid EQ on some of these. Here's a Mercado. Okay. Here's kind kind of spiccato-ish. Rebel with a Cause. Purring pad is really cool. It's like this purring sound. Inyecado pluck. Okay, Game Boy. Highway to Your Harp. Muted Harpalina. Just beautiful. Okay, steel drumish. Steel harp. In the air. Now, check this out. Howard Scar also did an air tonight. He has an octave. Hear the higher octave? I didn't hear an octave when I play the recording, the original recording. So I kept my version, so you have both. I can feel it coming in the air of night. I can't sing worth the life of me. Ping falling, ping rising. All right, simplicity. And one thing's really cool in the effects, you have this velvet. You hear that noise? Without it, there's no noise. It even has one down here called recording. Makes it sound like an old recording with noise and everything. So those kind of effects are great just to add to what it can do. Snappy purity. Just useful, simple sounds sometimes are the most valuable. Okay, so this is the library. It's going to be very attractively priced because of the NAMM show specials. I always have a special when I go away for the NAMM show, I let the website have a nice special. So that will be coming out next Wednesday, and I can't wait. It will be really fun. Any questions? I'm going to wrap up and go see my family. I'm not even going to show, I decided I'm not even going to, I'll show you the interface. It's right up here, Audict, Hexeract. They're not doing anything really to the interface. So this interface and the way it looks, which kind of looks like the inside of a hot-rodded PC computer, it's not changing, which is unfortunate to me because this is a very kind of confusing interface in the first place. But you have the ability to click and drag different cables, and each of these oscillators, there's 3 different sound sources, and you get to see the names now when you drag over it, but to sit here and have to do this to get to the modulation is kind of not my favorite type of interface. But we'll look at this once the update is out and I have the new sounds to work with, to play with. So until then, we will reserve any kind of a judgment. I don't want to say anything negatively about it. It's an interesting synth. It's nice to have fresh ideas on how a synth should be made. But it's you know, either you look at this and it's attractive and you're into it, or else you look at it and you go, boy, that's going to be a lot of work to program, right? Yeah, it's kind of that, like, you know, at least Absinthe had kind of a weird look to it, but it was easy to understand when you looked at it. Here you can look at this and you can still see the matrix like this. So you can see the list of what's assigned modulation-wise this way after you've assigned it. But to have to go to this page before you can tell what that is kind of a mistake in my opinion. But I'm not going to play it. We're not going to talk about its abilities and features and lacking or whatever until after the update. So I'm sorry for not doing the update on that, but I want to just be fair to the guys at Audict. So we'll wait for the update and we will have a good time then. All right. The sounds are nice. Yes. Just get rid of the tubes and just use drag and drop modulation. Yeah, exactly. That would be much nicer. But it sounds nice. There's some nice sounds in it for sure. So thank you for joining me for this live stream. Oh, I will. I'll tell my parents hello. They drove 400 miles this morning. They got really early. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked the bank. Thank you, Riddle. Yeah, it came out great. So it will be available Wednesday. I'll send a note out on my newsletter channels and on Facebook. Could you quickly explain what the difference between FM and PWM is? Ooh, that's a live stream in and of itself, my friend. Let's do that in a separate live stream because that's too much to quickly explain. Let's just say it this way. PWM is a waveform change. It's when you have, oh, not this. We want to have, when we have, let's go to my init patch. And I change this to the sawtooth or to the square waveform. The pulse has a set width to it, and I can change that width. And as I bring that width more narrow, it gets more narrow of a sound. Right? FM is a form of synthesis. Totally different in that with FM, if you want, let's do this really quick because I can't say no to helping people. It's just my nature. So with FM, oh, nice. Let's see here. Let's go over here. Let's, do we have the ability to go file a new sound? So if we go here to the operator page, so we have a sine wave. Let's turn on this sine wave and I can make it like this so I hear it. Right? So I have two sine waves. But instead of having a sine wave there, if I force this sine wave to go into the input of this sine wave, that's FM synthesis. So it's a totally, let's see here, if we go to spectrum. As I bring up the level of this interaction between these two different waveforms, it gets crazy complex. And then if you turn on D and you have that go into E, which is already feeding F, you know, now you're getting into like unison that and do some other things and you have Skrillex, right? If you go here to the master and you say unison. Check out my Toxic FM8 library. I made sounds like that just totally abused itself. So it's a whole different form of synthesis versus changing the pulse of a square wave. Two different things. But we should get more into depth of synthesis in future live streams. Any questions? Thank you Bye, Raymond. See you later. Thanks for everybody joining. It's great to see you all. Such a great live stream. Sorry I was late to start. Got it figured out, thank goodness. And we will see you again. Peace, love, fat beats. I'm going to have all sorts of video and photos of the NAMM show on the Facebook page. So if you're not a part of the Facebook Plugin Guru family, please find me and like and follow along. It's awesome. Love supporting you guys. Bless you, and we'll see you later, okay? Oh, shout out. Quick, give me a shout out. I'm not sure when the next live stream will be. Probably the week after NAMM, when I get back. Shout out from PDX. Let's see, where are we at? Hi from Jupiter. JX, stop that. Do a live stream on that, please. I need to watch. LA, Holland, Bothell, Washington. Thanks, Dwight. Appreciate, he said really cool sounds. I'm really glad. Denmark. I just love all the places in the world that this stream is being fed to right now. It's the coolest thing on the planet. So I love to do the lowlands. Bernie, you're funny. Germany, Boston, Finland, Norway. Hi from the White House. Some Spokane. Yeah, you guys are all over the place. We're international, guys. It's awesome. Be well. I'll see you later. Bye.